Sarah, a successful 35-year-old businesswoman, sat in her living room and cried. Half an hour ago, upon returning home, she noticed that some valuable items were missing, including her housekeeper. She was about to call the police when she received a call from her fiancé Yuri. "Yurochka, darling, come quickly. We've been deceived by the girl who came to visit. She stole things, paintings, come over, and I'll call the police in the meantime. Don't worry, I won't involve the police. My fiancé is wonderful and caring. I left with her. I have a few of your intimate photos. If you decide to report the theft, the photos will become public. So it's better to send us some amount every month. It's our mutual desire. I'll send a couple of photos in a second." Sarah received the photos and realized that Yuri was threatening to expose their contents if she didn't periodically pay him. She couldn't believe such treachery and continued to cry without wiping away her tears. At that moment, someone knocked on the door. Sarah opened it, and her Aunt Marina stood before her. Seeing her niece in tears, Marina began to inquire about what had happened. Sarah shared her grief and personal misfortunes. "Why do I always encounter scoundrels? What's wrong with me? Everyone around me finds happiness, but for some reason, I can't be happy," Sarah cried. Marina comforted her and advised her to find a decent man who would protect her and bring happiness. Seriously, Marina continued, you need to change the scenery. Take a break, go to the countryside, for instance. Remember our grandmother's little house? Relax there, see how simple people live. Dress down a bit, your fancy clothes won't fit in that backwater. Sarah, we won't settle in that remote place if you don't blend in. Sarah looked at her aunt in surprise, but then pondered the suggestion and agreed. Grandma's little house was indeed small and old, but very cozy. For a couple of days, Sarah settled in, cleaned, ventilated, and put everything in order. She even found herself enjoying the place. However, her supplies ran out, and she had to find the local store. While walking down the street, Sarah noticed smoke billowing from a house's window. Without hesitation, she rushed towards it. A boy emerged from the house, followed by a man holding a flaming frying pan. After tossing it aside, the man turned to the boy. "Did you burn yourself or are you scared?" the man asked. "No, Dad," the boy replied timidly. Then they noticed Sarah. The man, looking questioningly at her, asked if she thought there was a fire. Understanding his gaze, Sarah explained, "I thought there was a fire." He nodded, and the man and his son went back inside. When he saw the peculiar woman following them, he couldn't help but wonder. "I stopped and made a joke that we could handle it ourselves," Sarah said. She realized she looked quite silly, nodded, and walked away. At the store, she encountered another disappointment. It was closed, with a sign on the door indicating a need for a saleswoman. Sarah stood there, gazing at the door when she suddenly heard someone's voice. "What brings you here?" She turned and saw a precise woman in a leopard print dress. "I wanted to." Sarah nodded towards the door. She didn't have time to explain that she came for groceries, and was closed. "Well, lucky for you, I'll open it now. They left me to watch over it and find someone, and the store opens only for 2 to 3 hours when they deliver bread. Otherwise, it's closed. By the way, have you heard about the bird-watching party? I recently got married, and now I'm going there. There are a lot of people and men." Sarah raised her eyebrows in surprise. In this remote place, women get married, have children, and go bird-watching parties. She mentally invited hope, and then thought, why not me? Maybe I'll find someone too. She expressed her thoughts and said, "Well, then, show me around your businesses." The next day, Sarah stood behind the counter of the local store, assisting customers. The work wasn't very demanding, and there weren't many customers, but the people were friendly, and many approached Sarah. For the first time, she felt alive and real. Once again, an old lady came in. "Dear, do you have good tea? Not too expensive." While Sarah was helping the old lady pick out tea, she noticed another visitor entering the store. It was the same boy from before. "Is the bread coming soon? My dad is working and I'm Mom." The boy struggled to articulate the words. They'd promised to bring it in half an hour. "It's just me now. My dad is at work, and my mom." The boy shrugged and left. Then the old lady turned to Sarah, reaching into her worn purse instead of the boy. "Yes, they don't have a mother. You see, his name is Oliver, and the father is raising him alone." They thought the boy wouldn't survive at first, but his mother, well, she ran away somewhere. Maybe found a new man, who knows? Oliver struggles to cure the boy's stuttering. But there are various clinic methods and, dear, your methods cost money. Where are you from? They worked for Oliver, who has been a tractor driver his whole life. So when Sarah heard that the bread would be delivered in the evening, she walked past Oliver's house and fields again. Inadvertently, she peeked through the gate where little Siva played with twigs and a puppy twirled around him, joyously yelping. Sarah smiled. A week passed, and Sarah had learned about everyone and everything. The old ladies visiting her store brought plenty of local news. Everyone knew she was Shura's late grandmother's granddaughter, living in her house. Of course, Oliver was the one who interested her the most. However, it was difficult to talk about him, and he never came to the store. Sometimes he would send Siva for simple purchases. One day, 3 men entered the store, behaving wildly and clearly inebriated. They made flat jokes and then openly harassed Sarah. The woman did not expect such rudeness. When one of them reached out to her, she slapped him. At the same time, she felt someone grabbing her, and an enraged face approached. However, in the next moment, the hooligan's grip loosened, and Oliver scattered them in all directions. Sarah saw Oliver tossing her tormentors aside and then throwing each one out onto the street. She warmly thanked her savior. "I hope they won't dare to come here again. How good that you came right on time. I'm used to Siva coming for groceries, but he's sick now. I want to get him something tasty myself. Is there anything I can help with?" "No, it's okay. We'll manage on our own. But can I get him some medicine or anything else?" "No, it's not necessary. We'll handle it ourselves. Maybe he needs good medicine. I'll stay with him while you go to town." "Sure, thank you." They closed Sarah's store, and within 10 minutes, she was sitting next to the boy, reading him a fairy tale. Meanwhile, Oliver started his old Lida and went to the district center to buy the necessary medicine for his son. The little one recovered quickly, and Oliver and Sarah became close friends, meeting very often. They had dinners together, either at Sarah's or Oliver's, and played with the little boy. One evening, as Oliver walked her home, he unexpectedly pulled her closer and gently kissed Sarah. She simply melted. This was the happiness she had been waiting for. Now Oliver put Seva to bed and spent a few hours with Sarah. She was blissfully happy, but one thing troubled her. Oliver thought she was a poor, lonely woman and expected her to stay with him forever. "Ides čaši zvonil zaimstitel I ochen chasto nastoi chivo sprashable cogda, she ona Venetia." The company Necapello's Sarah had already handed over her affairs to a young girl, who enthusiastically took her place. 2 days before leaving, Sarah decided to prepare dinner and tell Oliver everything. However, at lunchtime, the unexpected happened. She was at Oliver's when her housekeeper, Luda, walked in. Luda was Oliver's ex-wife and quickly tired of him, leaving with nothing. After struggling to find a job, she decided to return to the family, but she never expected to see another woman there, especially Sarah. Luda immediately raised a fuss and quickly told her ex-husband who Sarah was. Oliver looked at the woman he once loved, feeling a mix of emotions. "Did you want to mock me?" He replied, "I love you, and I wanted to tell you everything tonight." Luda continued to intervene, knowing Sarah's history, but Oliver, angered, asked both women to leave. Luda left but turned back. "If I wanted to deceive you, would I say this? I don't want anything from you except your love. If you want, I'll leave, but I'll take your child with me." "Oh, and I'm pregnant with your child," Sarah added, gently caressing her stomach. "I'm pregnant." Oliver once again embraced her, this time with the same warmth as the first time, but the kiss lingered longer, more tender than ever. Over the course of several years, Oliver and Sarah began cohabiting in her apartment. Sarah confided in Oliver, recounting the entire story about Yuri and his actions. When Oliver eventually located Yuri, he handled the situation in his own manner. Sarah, having her suspicions, found amusement in Yuri, who no longer posed any trouble. Oliver worked within his wife's company, and their family expanded with the presence of twin boys alongside Seva. Siva, having fully recovered from stuttering, now excelled academically in a prestigious high school. Luda resided in an old house at the outskirts of the village, expressing discontent about her life to anyone who would listen.